Echo Charles EC in the house post jiu-jitsu.
Sure. Yes.
How was it today?
It was good today.
Good
Today. A lot of ups, a lot of downs.
But net
good. We're there. It was one of those days where you feel like going when you're going in, because let's face it, some days you're like, oh, I don't feel like going, but today I felt like going. See everybody, I haven't seen a lot of the guys for a while. And then,
there's good rolls.
Great rolls today. Yeah.
There's a time period for me, and it's like 2 rounds deep. So I'm sweating, I'm warm, feeling the jiu-jitsu in my body.
It's flowing. Yeah.
And then maybe 6 rounds later, now everything's just like sweat everywhere and everything's slippery.
Yeah.
But that time period, those middle rounds, it's like probably about 6 rounds.
Yeah.
Where you feel like you're not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And it's just the jiu-jitsu.
You're kind of just free in there.
What is it? Slap, bump, roll. It's just like, who's next?
Yeah. Frick, I was talking to some bros the other day in training. After training, the post-training freaking debrief of life, kind of thing. And he was talking about work, and work, can be stressful sometimes. He works down at the border. And, it's like stressful sometimes. He was like, bro, but I need this jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I was like, bro, I was thinking about that. So then this is why. I know why. There's probably a million more reasons why, but let's say I'm stressed at work, at home, or whatever, right? And so when an incident happens that stresses you out, or that makes you mad, we'll say, or both, and it goes in your brain, you don't remember the incident from moment to moment to moment to moment. It just leaves you with this thing in your brain that's like stress or piss off, I'm pissed off, or whatever. And then you forget about it, but that feeling of piss off or whatever, stress, remains there because it's like association, right? You know why it's there if you have to reference it, but you just hold the feeling.
Yeah. And you're mad at everything now.
Right, because that feeling is driving your overall mood, overall state, we'll say. So you got that. So you get 1 thing happen, 2 things happen, 5 things happen at work, 1 thing happen at home, 2 things happen on the street, all this stuff. And now your brain has all these little stress patches on your brain. And which each little one, you can reference them, but they're not constant. It's just a little stress patch on your brain. Right?
Just compounding anger and frustration.
Exactly right. Now you get to jiu-jitsu. I roll with Jocko. I roll with Wes. I roll with whoever. I don't care. I'll roll with a white belt, a lower belt. I don't know. Whatever. This guy's trying to choke me. So all that compounding stress or whatever, you kind of have to push that aside because this is a new stress, a new very acute stress that takes its place. Jocko trying to choke me. Well, I better do something about that. And I have the opportunity and capability to do something about that most of the time. Right? So I got to deal with that stress. Jocko trying to pass my guard. I'm getting tired. Freaking all the stress that comes with the jiu-jitsu round, right? You get 1, you get 2 rounds, you get 3 rounds. Meanwhile, all those little stress patches they got to get pushed aside. We don't have time. Your brain doesn't have time for that kind of stuff because Jocko's trying to choke me right now. Or I'm choking Jocko. See what I'm saying?
No.
Nonetheless, this is the way it works.
You're trying to choke Jocko.
We are trying, and that trying, it creates a certain kind of stress. Good, bad, whatever you want to call it, but it's there. It takes precedent over all these little stress patches that were in your brain because they're slowly getting pushed aside. You can't think about what happened at home, at work, or whatever while I'm trying to defend this choke. It's very hard to think about that kind of stuff. And in fact, I can't even feel the feeling that stuff created.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling the feeling of Jocko trying to choke me trying to defend, me trying to pass his guard, me trying to do all this other stuff, me being tired, his sweat dripping in my eye, me slipping on the mat. Like all this stuff is taking precedent over all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And after a while, all that stuff is gone.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the big thing.
It's gone.
It gets removed from the system.
Exactly right. Now, here's another thing.
Picture this. You were you were eating dinner, and you had meat, steak on your plate, and then you get done with your steak, and now you put salad on the same plate, but there was like juice and blood and like whatever.
Yeah.
And now your salad's got some of that left in it, right? Yeah. That's kind of like what's going on day to day. So when you do jiu-jitsu, that plate's getting cleaned.
Getting cleaned.
Yeah, it's getting cleaned.
And here's the good thing, and you're right about it being cleaned because all those, we'll call them stress patches, they get pushed aside. And actually at the end of if you do 1, 2, 3 rounds, they get pushed out of your brain.
Yeah. They're reset.
Like you can choose to remember them later. You can if you want, but that's later. Whatever. We'll forget about that for right now. Now they got replaced with.
By the way, you have to literally choose because they won't creep back in. Like they're gone.
Right. It takes effort for them to, especially to re-engage like the way that they were. But anyway, forget about that for right now. So now, because they got replaced with the stress of Jocko trying to choke me trying to choke him before the round ends, and the string, all the stress of a round of, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 rounds of jiu-jitsu, all that stress replaced the stress patches, right? Replaced them. Here's the magic part of jiu-jitsu. Once the 10 rounds are over, you're done for the day, all that stress disappears too. Clean. Jocko's no longer trying to pass my guard. That's all a memory. I'm not tired anymore. I'm recovering.
Wait, have I ever stayed in your head even when you left the mat?
That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm saying the stress of you trying to pass my guard is not there because you're not trying to pass my guard. That was the round we did. That's not happening anymore. Me trying to choke you, that's not in my brain anymore because that's done with. It's not currently going on, so it's not leaving me with any feelings. Now, if you want to evaluate your performance and you get, you have goals attached to jiu-jitsu, that's a whole different thing. But I'm saying that's why jiu-jitsu eliminates the stress.
Because you sent me a meme the other day, and it was a cat that was driving a vehicle, and there was music playing, and he kind of looked, but the caption was, "When you leave jiu-jitsu after getting tapped out by everybody."
By everybody, yeah.
And you said it was a deep, like there was meaning.
There's layers to that thing, and that is like one of the funnier ones. And I was like, it has a lot to do with how the cat looks, and he's just going about his business, but you can tell he has an internal struggle. That's like the look on his face, but he's still, it's really funny. It's me leaving the gym after I get tapped out from everybody. It's just like, yeah, it's freaking funny. But yes, hey, that's real too. But that's a different kind of stress. Like no one's really, unless you have jiu-jitsu goals that you're very attached to, which is the thing, I get it. But unless you're like that, you leaving the gym, I don't care if you get tapped out by everybody. Like, you don't care. You feel way better. It's way better than the stress of life. I'll tell you that. Jiu-jitsu is just for fun. And even when you get tapped out by everyone, which I have before, I've gone to jiu-jitsu and got tapped out by everybody before. When I leave, the feeling of that is way better. Because there's so many good things that overtly that came from it. So it's different. It sucks that freaking it sucks getting tapped out by you a bunch of times and then the text message reinforcing you, remember when I tapped you out today? I'll freaking all night. Yeah, that sucks. But whatever. There's some fun to it for sure.
Check. All right. Well, there's a little unexpected jiu-jitsu intro.
That's real.
From your stress patch free brain. I'm glad to hear about that. I was thinking also, it's a little bit from jiu-jitsu, but tension. Even what we're talking about is tension. And what I want to say, I think oftentimes people, they don't like tension. They think tension is bad. And I wanted to say, in many cases, tension is not bad. It's actually, in a lot of cases, good. Let me give you an example. When you're shooting a pistol, one of the ways that they teach how to shoot a pistol is they call it the push-pull method. Have you ever heard of that? So your dominant hand is pushing and your support hand is pulling. So you create this like dynamic tension on your weapon. Jiu-jitsu, which we just talked about, you're creating tension. You have a hook and you have a frame, right? Yeah. I'm holding your neck, but I also have a crowbar I also have my forearm in your shoulder. So there's a dynamic tension. There's a tension there. You can't get away from me, but you can't come closer. I want to keep you there. I want to keep you in the right spot. I do that. If I let go of my hook, you walk away. If I let go of my frame, you smash me. I got to have both those forces acting at the same time. People on teams will have tension as well. You have the person that's a big risk taker versus the person that's conservative, right? Look, we should just go and execute this thing. Well, hold on. We need to consider. You see what I'm saying? There's tension there. The micromanager, it's like, we need to make sure that we're tracking everything that they're doing. Versus the hands-offers, no, they could just kind of do what they want. There's going to be a tension there. The person that's detail-oriented, like, we need to make sure we're running the numbers on this. Versus the person that's like big picture-oriented. That's like, well, we'll be good. There's strategic approaches that have tension, right? You got one person saying, look, we need to keep the price down. You got another person saying, we got to keep the quality up. There's tension between those two. In the SEAL teams, speed versus security. You can either go fast, but we have less security, but sometimes we say our security is our speed. But there's a tension. Someone's like, hey, dude, we should not. We need to set up security over there before we bound across that thing. Someone else is like, hey, dude, while we're setting up security, we could already be across. So there's a natural tension there. There's a natural tension, high margin versus high volume. Right? We just need to sell as much as we can. No, we need to sell stuff with a higher margin. High quality, high margin. Or like low quality, high volume. Long term versus short term. All day. There's a tension between those two things. In business and life. And then even within a company, you can have departments and divisions that there's tensions between. SEAL Team 3 Task Unit Bruiser, tension between Charlie Platoon and Delta Platoon. There's a tension, a natural tension. In a normal company, you get tension between sales and operations, or tension between sales and marketing. There's tension between these things. And this is the thing. These things are okay and these things are normal. And actually, I think they're beneficial because in that tension, you find balance and you find solutions. So that's what we're doing as leaders. We are balancing these opposing forces. Did I say dichotomy? Maybe. But that's what we are doing. We are balancing the tension between sales and operations, between quality versus cost, between speed versus security. We are balancing these things. And I would say, as a leader, lean a little bit into the underdog. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that it's being heard, it's being understood. Lean a little bit, like let's support the underdog a little bit. Don't go overboard. Don't lean too hard. But lean a little bit to make sure that that there's enough tension on the underdog. You know, kind of root for the underdog a little bit. You know, if sales has these real dynamic personalities and operations doesn't, and they kind of are like winning the argument, lean. Let's figure out. Let's support. Let's balance out that tension a little bit. So that's what we're doing. We are constantly balancing these tensions, and we're utilizing tension. Unfortunately, like I said, people often see tension as bad.